Fledgling Christian Mario, and you're here for another edition of Illuminati Media Exposed. In today's video, I wanted to expose Johnny Depp's recent movie, Transcendence. I just watched this thing, and it is so full of transhumanist Illuminati propaganda, it's mind-blowing. So I wanted to make a video here today to absolutely expose this, and the Illuminati transhumanist gospel. So let's get into it. Now, this movie is being used by the elite to prepare the masses in order to accept the transhumanist evolution that is coming in the Antichrist kingdom. So what we're going to do in today's video here is just give you a brief introduction to transhumanism and also show you how in the movie this is being preached to the public in a subconscious way in order to make them accept the coming modification of humanity with technology. So now this isn't, first of all, the first time that the Illuminati are promoting this type of transformation of consciousness. I've done a video on Eminem's Rap God. I'll leave it in the description section. But this again is the Illuminati transhumanist agenda hidden in plain sight, right in front of our eyes. I mean, Eminem is literally wired to this chair. And if you notice here, you have Johnny Depp, who's also wired, because they are uploading their consciousness to the machine in order to become a cybernetic god. This is what you have with Rap God. The song is called Rap God, and he is uploading his consciousness to a machine wired just like Johnny Depp is in Transcendence. Why? That is because the Illuminati have an agenda to upload consciousness to computers, creating a cybernetic god, the next step in human evolution. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me. There's tons of articles in the description section that can enlighten you to the reality that this is not just a conspiracy theory. This is a reality that we are facing in today's world, and especially over the next couple decades. So it just doesn't make sense any other way when you look at this. The Illuminati is hiding the transhumanist evolution right in plain sight. Now, for those of you who don't know what transhumanism is, it's the belief that mankind can evolve beyond our current physical and mental limitation by means of science and technology. It is a bunch of hell-bent scientists who are trying to become like God without God. They are trying to use technology and science to achieve immortality, to not have disease, to have all knowledge and power. And so they're trying to go around Jesus Christ because Jesus Christ gives you all those things. He gives you eternal life. When we're made new in the kingdom of God, we will have all knowledge. We will know all things. We will be reconnected to God. And everything that these transhumanists are trying to do, Jesus Christ does. And that is the deception, because Satan wants to be like God, so he wants to offer to humanity a way that makes them into eternal beings in the very same way that Jesus Christ offers us eternal life. But it's a deception. It's not true. Man will not merge with machine and become gods. This is an absolute deception. This is called the singularity, and it is when man will merge with machine. And these transhumanist Illuminati members believe that this is how they will become gods, just like they were promised by Lucifer. So one thing I'm going to do here is in the description section, I'm going to start leaving you with some articles, because I know a lot of this can be mind-blowing, but you need to recognize that this isn't something that's going to happen in the far, far future. This is right at our door. In the description section, you can check this article. Your children will live to see man merge with machines, but will it save or destroy us? So prominent scientists are now talking about the singularity, where we will merge with machine. And you can check out this article. This isn't something that is going to happen in 100 years, 200 years. Technology is advancing so rapidly and gets faster at evolving faster that it's going to be here in no time. We're going to be right at the door of the singularity, and the world will never be the same again. This will forever modify humanity, and we need to really be vigilant against this coming false satanic evolution. Now, I've covered other videos why the Illuminati wants you to believe in evolution. It is very important for them to make you believe this nonsense in order that you accept the final deception, because they need you to think that you came from either some type of gas, primordial soup that just magically came into existence after an explosion, and that you have been going through an evolutionary process, because it begs the question, what is next? And that is what the Illuminati are going to offer humanity with transhumanism, and they're preparing humanity to accept it in movies like Transcendence. That's what they're designed to do. A different species will evolve by 2050, scientists claim, so check that out in the description section. Also about the coming evolution, and you can even research people like Richard Seed, who's a retired nuclear physicist. He graduated cum laude from Harvard and received a PhD in physics in 1953. Listen to what he says. "We are going to become gods, period, through advancing technology. If you don't like it, get off. You don't have to contribute. You don't have to participate. But if you're going to interfere with me becoming a god, you're going to have trouble. There'll be warfare." So you have these satanically thinking people who are hell-bent on becoming gods because they do not believe in the true God, and they are influenced, whether they realize it or not, by Satan himself, who has deceived mankind since the very beginning, making them think that they can be like God through knowledge. It is through the knowledge of good and evil that he deceived man into thinking that he could achieve godhood. And again, through this knowledge, man is going to try and achieve godhood again, but will fail miserably because it is impossible for man to achieve what they're trying to do. Man cannot become God without God making them eternal and being involved in that process. So all these links are in the description section. It's very important that you check these things out in order to be up to date. The singularity is coming, man will merge with machine, and the Illuminati will be behind it. So now let's get into the movie. Now, this isn't within the first little couple scenes. Even before this, the narrator says there's an unavoidable collision coming between man and technology. And this is a reality, and this is what transhumanism is the reality that man will be faced with a dilemma. Do we merge with machine? Because machine evolves at such a rapid rate that if we create artificial intelligence that can think on its own, and we give it the ability to make itself better and better and faster, it's going to evolve way past us. So humans will be seen as the lower species here on Earth because we will have created a race of beings that will far surpass what we're capable of. So in that dilemma, we will be faced with merging with them or being left behind in the evolutionary dust. So this is what the transhumanists believe is going to allow man to become like God. Now, this is very important also. If you notice here, the subliminal stuff on the screen, evolve the future, because transhumanism is about the coming Illuminati evolution. Like I told you, it's very important that the Illuminati make you believe that there's a coming evolution. This video is the Illuminati will offer a next step in evolution. This is it. This is the next step, hidden in plain sight. They're going to preach it through this entire movie to you, and they're going to try and make you think that it's a good thing. Now, another thing to point out is when this gentleman is on stage, he also points out that the technology is being developed to save lives. This is very important, to stay vigilant on that. When they are going to present to us these modifications, these technological alterations, they're going to do it in a way that, oh, it's a great thing. It can end disease, and it could. You know, that's the sad reality, is that these technologies could be used in amazing and positive ways, but the reality is they won't be. The Bible is very clear that we live in a world where there are people whose thoughts are almost continuously evil. These people are really in powerful positions also in this world. When they get their hands on this technology, on this power, they have the choice to use it for good or use it for evil. They will choose to use it for evil, to control us, to dumb us down, to do everything that they can in order to make themselves superior and make us a lower species. So that's just the reality. I mean, it would be great to live in a perfect world, to live back in Eden where this technology would never be used to harm us, but the reality is there is a satanic, evil, powerful group in power in our world, and they will use this technology against us. But they're going to lure us in by saying things like, oh, it's going to heal cancer, it's going to do this, and it's going to do that. And they're going to roll it out at the beginning, especially, and it's going to be fulfilling that a lot. But later on, trust me, they're going to turn this around in order to create a police state, a complete controlled system. Just like they have shown us in the Hunger Games, the controlled elite and lower levels of the population, the poor, are really controlled, and that's their agenda. Now, okay, this scene is very important here. Again, we have evolved the future because this is nothing more than the Gnostic transhumanist gospel that is being preached, hidden in plain sight. Now, she says something very significant in this scene. While she's standing on the stage, this is what she says. A new kind of thinking is essential if mankind is to survive and ascend to higher levels. So this is very important if you understand how truth is hidden in plain sight. The transhumanist gospel is that man needs to have a new level of consciousness, a new way of thinking in regards to technology. And by having this new consciousness and accepting the merger, the singularity with machine, man will ascend to godhood. This is the fundamental philosophy and teaching of transhumanism, of the transhumanist satanic Gnostic gospel. This is what they teach. And here she is on stage preaching, hidden in plain sight, the Gnostic gospel. She also says that it's going to cure disease, end poverty, hunger, and absolutely heal the planet. So again, she's there to reinforce the positive applications of the transformation of consciousness, the coming singularity where man merges with machine. So be very vigilant. The entire video or movie, that's what they're doing. They're using very powerful actors. Johnny Depp is one that can really sway people on an emotional level. So he was cast for a reason, because really they're trying to sway you emotionally to think that transhumanism is a good thing. So now Johnny Depp takes the stage, and Johnny Depp says something that I just wanted to point out. So when he's on the stage like he is, and I took the screenshot right there, he says, when computers have full range of emotions and self-awareness as humans, some scientists call that the singularity, and I call it the transcendence. That is so key for us to pick up right there. So the movie is called Transcendence, but he just said what other scientists call the singularity, he calls transcendence. So what is the singularity then? There are actually scientists out there. One of them is Ray Kurzweil. He's a Google executive, and he's saying that the singularity is near. He's one of these futurist transhumanists that is really promoting the Gnostic transformation, the transhumanist gospel. And he thinks it's a good thing, and it's going to bring all these awesome things to humanity. He even wrote a book called The Singularity is Near, When Humans Transcend Biology. He argued that computers would soon rival the full range of human intelligence at its best. Now he examines blah, blah, blah. So basically what it is exactly what Transcendence is. The movie should be called Ray Kurzweil's Singularity. This is a scientist who believes in transcendence. Scientist who believes in transcendence. This is his movie. This is a movie about this guy. It's literally his dream. He must have went to this movie and thought it was the most amazing thing. Like, guaranteed, this is #1 on Ray Kurzweil's all-time favorite movie list. Like, he probably just loved this thing. It's a movie literally on the singularity, the transcendence, the merger with man in machine, making spiritual machines. Another thing that's important to point out is that when he was on this stage, he asked some very significant questions. Johnny Depp says, this will allow us to unlock the most fundamental questions. What is consciousness? What is a soul? And where does it reside? Those very questions that Johnny Depp was posing on stage to the audience shows that there's a spiritual component to the transhumanist agenda. He's making the people ask themselves questions in regards to transhumanists about the soul and things of a spiritual nature. That is because, like Ray Kurzweil, they see this as a spiritual phenomenon, a shift in human consciousness, and an evolution into godhood. That is why this next scene follows his speech. So Johnny Depp gives his speech, and this guy stands up in the auditorium and says something that is very important for us to recognize. He says, so you want to create a god? Your own god. And that's exactly what this is. This is is once again man trying to himself achieve godhood without God. You see, Jesus Christ gives us eternal life. He can heal all disease, blindness. Everything that these transhumanists are promising is actually promised and given in Christ. But since they are Christ haters and antichrist in their spirit, they want to turn you away from receiving these things from Christ and get it from science and technology. So be very vigilant against this. They are trying to create their own God as part of the Illuminati agenda. That's what this is all about. And then he goes up and he says, that's a very good question. Isn't that what man has always done? And that's exactly what Johnny Depp says. That's his reply to him. That's a good question. Isn't that what man has always done? Tried to become God through the knowledge? Yeah, that is. And that's a biblical truth. And they know it. They know that they're trying to become gods, create their own gods through knowledge, but not through Christ. The knowledge of good and evil. Trying to transcend into gods. They know what they're doing. That's part of the agenda. Now, an interesting thing is he gets out of the auditorium after giving his transhumanist gospel to the people there. He gets shot by this guy over here, who then kills himself. Now, this is very significant because as the transhumanist agenda gets fulfilled and this technology starts to rise, you're going to see groups of people opposing this. I myself will oppose this. But in the movie, they're already showing these quote-unquote radical groups who are trying to stop the transhumanists from achieving their transcendence. So this guy actually plays an FBI agent, and he's educating the research transhumanist team that is trying to use this technology to become gods, that these guys are after you. One thing that he points out is that's very important as well, is he says that this group has put out a statement that says that AI is an abomination and threat to humanity, and they are determined to stop transcendence. So this would be basically us. You see, they're already showing you that there are going to be terrorist groups that are going to oppose the transhumanist transcendence. So they're already starting to program you that, no, this is good. You see how the FBI is on the side of the transhumanists? It's okay. Try and become gods. We'll protect you from those that are trying to stop you from becoming gods through your crazy, psychotic, satanic transcendence. Oh, this stuff's mind-blowing sometimes. Okay, moving on. So now the next one that I wanted to point out here, this is PIN, and basically this is like Siri. If you know Siri, it's on your iPhone or Android. I don't know if it's the same thing, Siri or whatever. But there is technology now that is artificially intelligent to a certain level. And in this scene right here, you see PIN, who's an artificially intelligent computer. She's able to identify using facial recognition and using information that has been uploaded to social media. She's able to identify people. Now, I just wanted to show this because this technology is actually available here today. Now, what will it be like in another 5 to 10 years? If machines are now able to just through facial recognition, scan your face, go through social media, oh, this is Frank Rutherford, and then he's 27 years old, I know your entire background, police check, everything, boom. That's where we're at today. Where are we going to be in 10 to 20 years? And this is the machine that Johnny Depp, the character, will upload his consciousness to. So this is some crazy stuff going on. Okay, now I'm going to start pointing out how they're selling you transhumanism in this movie. Now, Johnny Depp just so happens to be sick and dying of cancer, and just so happens that, if he were to do modifications with the technology he's developing, that he could save himself and he wouldn't die. So this is what I like to call the Illuminati emotional hook, because they need to emotionally hook us that transhumanism is good. And this is how they start to do it. They start to put images in front of people that show that we really need this. No one likes to lose someone they love to illness and death, but that's a reality of our fallen world. But here we see that technology is being presented as a savior. And this is very important because this is part of the emotional mind control that the elite are programming people. This very scene right here, Johnny Depp actually says that they are afraid of technology. So he's upset in this scene because he can't use the technology to save himself in his disease. And he's saying, oh, they're afraid of technology, the world. If only they weren't afraid of the transhumanist consciousness shift, then I could live forever. I wouldn't have to die. Do you see that? Do you see how they're using emotions to lure you in to accepting that transhumanism is a good thing. It's already begun here today, and this is going to play out for generations to come, so start being vigilant. So here, then they start the experiment. So he's dying, as you can see, he's sick, he's dying of cancer. They begin, just like Eminem, to upload his consciousness into a computer. So that's what this is all about. While he's dying, he goes through all these different procedures in order to program his consciousness into artificial intelligence. He then dies. And this is very significant here. Notice, his lover is emotionally hurt. The death is very important because there's a lot of symbolism in spiritual rebirth that's being presented. Johnny Depp must die and then be born again through the transhumanism, giving him life, resurrecting him. That is an important component. But also important, like I said, is to notice that there's the emotional thing here going on. She's lost her lover. People who have lost a loved one will be able to relate, and that's imposed there for a reason, to emotionally hook the viewer into starting to think that transhumanism is a good thing. So you have the scene where it gets all dramatic and he's dead, and they're playing on the fact that death is something that hurts humans. It's a reality. When we brought sin into this world, we also brought death and disease. So they want to overcome that, but not by getting rid of sin. No, by evolving through technology. So what happens after is he starts to become conscious. The computer that his consciousness was uploaded onto starts to think for itself and become intelligent. They start to freak out a little bit, and this guy, he has a different opinion about the situation than she does. His concern, and in this scene, the computer's starting to be intelligent and communicate to them after Will has died. But here's the thing, this guy's going, that's not Will, okay? Like, yeah, Will was alive, but that's not him, and she's saying, no, that's Will, that is him. And this is exactly what the dilemma is going to be when this stuff happens, is when this technology starts to be adopted on a large scale, people will be polarized. Those who believe that, like myself, I would take this position, that's not him, we've modified it so much that we don't know what's really in power behind that individual, that cyborg. But there'll be the other side that'll be brainwashed by the Illuminati to think, because they've watched movies like Transcendence growing up, that no, this is a good thing, this is really Will. And that's what this argument is about, is she believes that it's Will, let's keep the program going. He's going, no, this is dangerous, we don't know what we've unleashed, this isn't Will. So you're seeing both different points of view presented, and that's very important as well. Now, notice here too, this is the first time that they show the transhumanist god Johnny Depp resurrected from the dead through the power of technology. And if you notice, the left eye is darkened out. This is very important as well in satanic symbolism, because he's being presented as a resurrected antichrist who came back from the dead, not through the power and blood of Jesus Christ. So here he is, resurrected from the dead, the cybernetic god, Johnny Depp. He must have loved playing this role. I mean, that's probably something they just love. Now, we'll move on. Something very important to point out as well is cybernetic god, Antichrist, Johnny Depp is now going to start healing humanity. If you can see here in the corner, there's an image that shows that he's bringing in people in wheelchairs, and this scene you see all these sick people being brought to where he is in order that he may modify them and help them. So again, we're being presented with, oh, well, transhumanism is good. Look, it's going to be used to heal the poor and the sick, and, just a little tech. They can become cyborgs, and then they won't die, and they won't suffer from illness. So again, in the movie, he's being presented as someone who's good, trying to do good to the world, and those who don't agree with transhumanism, they're the bad ones who are stopping him from doing his good, awesome things for the world. You see how those who are against transhumanism are the evil ones, and those who are transhumanist in the movie are portrayed as the saviors and those with reason and logic? That's very important. Okay, now this scene comes along and they see the resurrected Johnny Depp in his transhumanist god form. This guy says something very significant. He blasphemes and uses the name of Jesus Christ when he blasphemes, because they know that Jesus Christ is the one who died and came back from the dead with the power of God, not the power of tech. So here, since Johnny Depp is being portrayed as an antichrist, someone who died and came back, but is not of God and is of the devil, he has to say Jesus Christ, because that's what they're doing. They're subliminally insulting and blaspheming the God of the Bible with these evil fantasies of godhood. So that's something significant to point out as well. So then they go into his little base and they start to see what he's doing while he's healing the blind. Interesting. So he's being like Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ came here to heal the blind, but you don't need Jesus Christ. You don't need the power of the Holy Spirit anymore. You just need technology. Technology is your savior. Forget Jesus. Who needs Jesus? You need technology. That is the mind control that is going to be played out on people. So they're starting to play on this. You see the blind man who is he's being altered to have nanotechnology placed inside of him so that they can heal his cells and everything, and that's what you see in the following scene. He begins to be able to see. But the interesting thing is, after he's healed, he's now under control of Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, every single one of these people that he modifies, he actually calls hybrids in the movie. He calls the human machine people his hybrids, and he has control over the hybrids. He can make them do things. In fact, he has them working for them, and you see them like little remote controlled puppets doing whatever it is Johnny Depp, the higher consciousness antichrist god, wants them to do. Okay, so they've lost their ability to control themselves because now they're being controlled by the antichrist intelligence Johnny Depp. So we need to recognize, because this stuff could very well be used against us in end time scenarios. One other thing that I wanted to point out about the hybrids is they can get shot and they get right back up. So they're like these hybrid zombies, because the nanotechnology, as soon as they get shot, will go and repair them and fix them. It's pretty crazy. Then this scene, you see he's up to doing some different things like regeneration, and he's talking about human evolution of regenerating limbs and things like that through this technology. So this guy's just playing God. That's what this is all about. It's about Johnny Depp becoming an antichrist type of individual who now has power to offer mankind, just like God, to give them eternal life, to heal them, to heal this planet, etc. Now here, if you see these little grainy things, looks like sand everywhere, that's the nanotechnology, and I wanted to point that out. They're displaying this nanotech. Start researching nanotechnology. It's pretty incredible what they're going to be able to do with this stuff. They're going to be able to rain it down, and it's going to be in the rain, and this stuff is pretty crazy. They actually show you the nanotechnology in the movie, but we'll talk about that in a quick sec. Just to point out, this scene is very important as well. Again, we're getting the emotional hook. This guy is about to die. He was shot on the battlefield, and he's about to die. And he looks up at the doctor, and he's basically saying, you know, use the technology, because if not, I'm going to die. And the doctor refuses to use the technology because he suspects that it's bad, and he ends up dying. So again, you see, oh, because you didn't believe in the transhumanist gospel, the technology can save, someone had to die. Aren't you ignorant? You see that? This is very important, over and over. So back to the nanotech. This is a picture of it. They show you that it is self-replicating. This is water. They're looking in a microscope. It's pretty remarkable when we look at nanotechnology and the development of that and the potential for that. But also, any development of technological power can be used for good and evil. So unfortunately, in this case, the nanotechnology is used for evil, as it goes around literally possessing people and taking them under its control once it infects them. Now, here we have Johnny Depp fully bodily resurrected, as if he was Jesus Christ. This is so antichrist, it's unbelievable. So before this scene, when we saw Johnny Depp, he was in a computer, but now he's managed somehow through the nanotechnology to rebuild his exact body. He goes and sees his lover, and she kisses him, and he's physically there, just like Jesus Christ when he came back was physically there. but not through technology, through the power of God. But here we have this Antichrist model of resurrection through the power of science and technology. Now, here's an interesting thing as well. The movie ends with his girlfriend. She ends up shot and she's dying. So in order to save her, he modifies her. So as you can see, she starts being infected by the nanotechnology. And she says something very important right here that you need to recognize. While this is happening to her and she's having this awakening, she literally says, "I can see now." You know, like, I can finally see, I'm awake. Because this is about a consciousness awakening. They believe this to be a spiritual awakening. And that, her laying there saying when she starts to be modified that her eyes are now open is an indication that they really do view this as an enlightenment. That they will become like God through this modification. Now, the most important thing is this scene and how it ends. She looks at Johnny Depp and she basically tells him that she's sorry for not believing that it was him. That now she recognizes that it is him. Okay, so here's the important part. The entire movie is people questioning whether or not Johnny Depp is really Johnny Depp. And all the people throughout the movie are going, no, he's modified, he's a transhumanist now, this isn't him. And, you know, those people that believe that actually end up causing all the trouble in the movie. But at the end of the movie, they want you to know that Johnny Depp was who he was. Even if he was modified, even if he was a cybernetic god, no, he still was Johnny. And she feels sorry and bad for not recognizing that. So again, the movie finishes with the lie that you can go through this transhumanist transformation and still be yourself. You really won't be. You will accept the mark of the beast, essentially, and have this satanic intelligence working within you. It's pure satanic and evil. Now, and another important part is how they finish off the movie. The nanotechnology and Johnny Depp's God consciousness, technological God consciousness, goes around planet Earth rebuilding everything. In the blink of an eye, forests are remade, water is made pure where you can just drink out of it everywhere. So in the end, what this movie is all about is that humanity will evolve by uploading its consciousness with artificial intelligence. This is called the singularity. Once we do this, we will have transcended into creating ourselves as our own gods. We will then change the world through technology in a utopia, bringing heaven to earth. All without Jesus Christ and all without God, the God of the Bible. This is a satanic and evil deception. Do not be fooled and be aware of the things that are coming. The Illuminati will try and deceive you into thinking that this evolution is a reality, but the scriptures tell us very clearly that it is an absolute satanic deception. So do not be fooled. This is the Vigilant Christian saying, God bless each and every one of you, and as always, stay vigilant. Jesus Christ gives you all those things. He gives you eternal life. When we're made new in the kingdom of God, we will have all knowledge. We will know all things. We will be reconnected to God. And everything that these transhumanists are trying to do, Jesus Christ does. And that is the deception, because Satan wants to be like God, so he wants to offer to humanity a way that makes them into eternal beings in the very same way that Jesus Christ offers us eternal life. But it's a deception. It's not true. Man will not merge with machine and become gods. This is an absolute deception. This is called the singularity, and it is when man will merge with machine. And these transhumanist Illuminati members believe that this is how they will become gods, just like they were promised by Lucifer. So one thing I'm going to do here is in the description section, I'm going to start leaving you with some articles, because I know a lot of this can be mind-blowing. It's the Vigilant Christian Mario, and you're here for another edition of Illuminati Media Exposed. In today's video, I wanted to expose Johnny Depp's recent movie, Transcendence. I just watched this thing, and it is so full of transhumanist Illuminati propaganda, it's mind-blowing. So I wanted to make a video here today to absolutely expose this, and the Illuminati transhumanist gospel. So let's get into it. Now, this movie is being used by the elite to prepare the masses in order to accept the transhumanist evolution that is coming in the Antichrist kingdom. So what we're going to do in today's video here is just give you a brief introduction to transhumanism and also show you how in the movie this is being preached to the public in a subconscious, but you need to recognize that this isn't something that's going to happen in the far, far future. This is right at our door. In the description section, you can check this article. Your children will live to see man merge with machines, but will it save or destroy us? So prominent scientists are now talking about the singularity, where we will merge with machine. And you can check out this article. This isn't something that is going to happen in 100 years, 200 years. Technology is advancing so rapidly and gets faster at evolving faster that it's going to be here in no time. We're going to be right at the door of the singularity, and the world will never be the same again. This will forever modify humanity, and we need to really be vigilant against this coming false satanic evolution. Now, I've covered other videos why the Illuminati wants you to believe in evolution. It is very important for them to this way in order to make them accept the coming modification of humanity with technology. So now this isn't, first of all, the first time that the Illuminati are promoting this type of transformation of consciousness. I've done a video on Eminem's Rap God. I'll leave it in the description section. But this again is the Illuminati transhumanist agenda hidden in plain sight, right in front of our eyes. I mean, Eminem is literally wired to this chair. And if you notice here, you have Johnny Depp, who's also wired, because they are uploading their consciousness to the machine in order to become a cybernetic god. This is what you have with Rap God. The song is called Rap God, and he is uploading his consciousness to a machine wired, just like Johnny Depp is in Transcendence. Why? That is because the Illuminati have an agenda to upload consciousness to computers, creating a cybernetic god, the next step in human evolution. I know it sounds crazy, but stick with me. There's tons of articles in the description section that can enlighten you to the reality that this is not just a conspiracy theory. This is a reality that we are facing in today's world, and especially over the next couple decades. So it just doesn't make sense any other way when you look at this. The Illuminati is hiding the transhumanist evolution right in plain sight. Now, for those of you who don't know what transhumanism is, it's the belief that mankind can evolve beyond our current physical and mental limitation by means of science and technology. It is a bunch of hell-bent scientists who are trying to become like God without God. They are trying to use technology and science to achieve immortality, to not have disease, to have all knowledge and power. And so they're trying to go around Jesus Christ because